Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to review Searching for and Maintaining Peace, a small treatise on peace of heart by Father Jacques Philippe. Father Philippe's a Catholic priest. He's a French spiritual retreat master. He has tremendous spiritual insights, and this little book is primarily about how to find the peace the world cannot give and hold on to it. Our world is filled with anxiety, agitation. We're all carrying around electronic devices, constantly notifying us about text messages, people calling us. Our apps are notifying us hundreds of times a day. If you've ever felt that you're filled with more agitation than you'd really like, and you'd like to start to figure out what to do about it, I would highly recommend this book. So this book starts. Ultimately, it's all based on the gospel of Jesus Christ. So the first part is kind of broken down into what is interior peace and the road to saintliness. So how to get and acquire that peace the world cannot give, and then how to hold on to it. I'd like to share a short excerpt from the first part of the book. So Father Philippe says, "It is of the greatest importance that we strive to acquire and maintain an interior peace, the peace of our hearts. In order to understand this, we can use an image, without exaggerating, as we should always avoid doing and making comparisons, but one that can be illuminating. Consider the surface of a lake, above which the sun is shining. If the surface of the lake is peaceful and tranquil, the sun will be reflected in this lake, and the more peaceful the lake, the more perfectly will it be reflected. If, on the contrary, the surface of the lake is agitated, undulating, then the image of the sun cannot be reflected in it." I think this is a beautiful analogy or a beautiful image, and I think it definitely speaks to what a major part of this book's getting at. You can claim to have the peace of God, and you can claim to be at rest in this great peace, but if others can't see it in you, if you're filled with agitation and anxieties, that's what people are going to see. They're not going to see the love of God reflected in you, but they're rather going to see your own muddled version of the things that you're struggling with from day to day. So I just think that's a really beautiful image that Father has painted. The second section of the book, I think, is just as good as the first, and it's entitled "How to React to That Which Causes Us to Lose Our Peace." In this section, Father Philippe outlines the many ways, the many stumbling blocks which prevent us from advancing and cooperating with God's grace on our spiritual journey. Things like having patience with ourselves. Many of you may have been seeking this interior peace for years, and you're frustrated. Why am I not further along? Or you're quick to see the faults and failings in your close friends and family. You can see them very objectively, or so you think. Maybe that's pride talking, but we often hold those closest to us the most accountable for even the smallest of failings. And that can really agitate us and upset us, and we really don't want to do that. We want to have patience and love to those around us. And also, finally, to look at ourselves and our failings through the loving eyes of God, rather than the harsh lens, a human lens, that only notices the faults and never notices any progression in ourselves. I think this section covers so many different ways at picking ourselves up when we've fallen and preventing ourselves from falling into hazards and traps that are lying in our path. The third section of the book is entitled "What the Saints Tell Us," and it's a collection of writings from various saints: Saint Francis de Sales, Saint Padre Pio, and the book itself is filled with quotations from one of my favorite saints, Saint Therese of Lisieux. So I'll end with one of her quotes: "I will never become discouraged." Father Jacques Philippe says this is the fundamental principle. It's not about heroic acts of virtue. I mean, it can be, but for most of us, the day-to-day little acts of virtue, the little way that Saint Therese talks about, this is more beneficial to our walk with God than anything that we can do heroically. And so, this book, I can't recommend it enough. I think it's an easy read. you can read it once through very quickly, or you can read it section by section and revisit different parts that you like as you need them in the future. I would suggest to go out and purchase it if it at all interests you. Searching for and Maintaining Peace by Father Jacques Philippe. Thank you.